Today on All Out Brick, we'll be reviewing Bionicle set 8537, the Nui-Rama. We're going to build them, review them, and then we'll give them a score. Let's get started. Hey everyone, I'm Christian from All Out Brick. If you're a first time viewer, welcome to our channel, and if you've seen us before, welcome back. In this video, we're going to be taking a look at the Nui-Rama from Bionicle. This set was released as a part of the very first wave of Bionicle way back in 2001. The Nui-Rama were large, insect-like Rahi that could deliver fatal blows with their stingers or claws. At one point, Nui-Rama kidnapped Mata along with a lot of the Lematoran and brought them back to their hive. They also managed to get an infected mask on Lewa, which put him under the Makuta's control. You can see how these events conclude by playing Mata Nui Online Game 1. Looking at the packaging, on the front of the box we see both of the Nui-Rama along with the Bionicle logo. This set is intended for ages 8+, of course that's just a recommendation, and contains 138 pieces. The background behind them is kind of this like lava. I don't know if this is supposed to represent the area around Takoro. I know if you ask me, it looks extremely similar to the lava river that we see in Bionicle, the Mask of Light, the very first Bionicle movie, which I guess hasn't taken place at this point in the canon, but that's what it looks like to me, that kind of lava river where Takua eventually finds the Mask of Light. This graphic wraps around to the sides of the box, and on one side we see Tahu fighting one of the Nui-Rama. This does not even look close to scale. It definitely highlights the Nui-Rama in this scenario, but you know, it's their set. It's alright. And then on the back we have the Lego Just Imagine slogan, which was a big part of the 2001 Bionicle Technic. I'm not sure how much it extended to other sets during that year or if it was just on Bionicle. I imagine that it was for all Lego sets, the Just Imagine. We see both of the Nui-Rama displayed as if they were fighting each other, kind of the play functions which we'll see later on once we finish building them. There's also a little bit of a sneak peek of the combination model, as well as a highlight of the Bionicle website, and there's some screenshots there from Mata Nui Online Game 1, a little bit of information about Pohatsu and the island of Mata Nui. However, that's just a small part in the bottom of the box. The top of the box has a couple more pictures of the Nui-Rama, nothing incredibly special, and the bottom has the barcode and the side has a little bit of extra graphics on there, nothing too noteworthy. Inside we receive two bags, one for each of the Nui-Rama, along with the instructions and some advertisement material from 2001. The instructions for the orange Nui-Rama is much thicker than the green one, and this is because it includes the instructions for the combination model, which of course we are going to include in this review. Having looked at everything that comes inside of the box, we're going to go ahead now and build the base models for the Nui-Rama. Let's go. Okay, so I just finished up the Nui-Rama builds for the base models. The total time was 15 minutes, a very quick build. Again, only 138 pieces, so not crazy big or anything. Flew through it rather quickly, and it was about 8 minutes each. I think it was like 8 minutes for the first one and 7 minutes for the second one, 15 total. Anyways, taking a look at the models, they're very, very good at depicting the wasp shape of the Nui-Rama. There's very distinct features. You can see the wings, the arms, the eyes and the mouth are very nice. The eyes themselves are very big and buggy. These just immediately makes you think insect. Obviously, the shape of them makes you think insect, but the eyes themselves are so big and they just stand out. I love the dark blue color. I think that's a fantastic choice to contrast with the rest of the model. I also think that they're very well balanced between how many pieces are black and how many are green or orange for these models. You know, there's definitely like the same black pieces across both, and then the green and the orange are like the same parts. This also leaves a ton of room for customization. Like if you wanted to make your own like custom colored Nui-Rama, I'm not entirely sure if these are like native to their own specific regions. I don't think that's the case. But say you wanted to make like a Gakoro Nui-Rama, you can make like some light blue pieces here, and it'd be very easy to do because they're essentially the exact same builds, just different colors for the green and the orange pieces. Other than that, identical. And of course, the mouthpieces are different too, but that's also a very small fix. Of course, for models that are for ages 8+, the play features are really important. These models, the Nui-Rama, they have these enormous grip areas, which is great for if, like, my hands are obviously much bigger than an 8-year-old's. You know, an 8-year-old's going to be able to grab that very well. And it's very easy to perform the play function, which is just using your thumb to push the wings forward. However, this play function posed to be a problem across both models. For the green Nui-Rama, I found it very easy to perform the play function, but on the orange one, I'm not sure if maybe I had like a cracked piece somewhere in here or something else, but it gets stuck when I press it forwards and it doesn't come back right away. The green one flies back, but this orange one, when I push it forward, the wings get stuck in the forward position, which greatly inhibits the ability to kind of fight each other, which is one of the main things that you can do with other people with these models, is you can have them fight each other, and whoever knocks the masks off first wins. It's kind of like the game with the Nui-Rama. So for one of them to be stuck like that, that's a pretty big disappointment, at least in my eyes. Again, I don't know if maybe there's a cracked piece in here that's been sitting around for the last 20 years. Aside from that, the only other problem that I ran into was with the instructions, actually. Again, these are very identical models besides the colors that I pointed out earlier, but the instructions don't do a fantastic job of showing like the orientation of the model while you're attaching parts. So it could be very easy to place a piece incorrectly and then have to restart or to find your way back. I didn't have this problem, but I wish that there was a little bit more clarity in the instruction manual, especially for younger kids that are trying to build these. I do enjoy the models pretty well, though. They're nice, small Rahi base models. They're the smallest of the Rahi bunch that were released in 2001. And I think these are a pretty nice one, especially like if you're looking for a smaller set. This is very satisfactory, and it's actually quite big when you think of how big a Toa is. Like, yes, they're the smallest Rahi, but I think if you stood them up like this, they're probably about tall. They're definitely taller than a Toa, so it's not like you're getting these tiny little villains. I think that LEGO did a great job making sure that it's still like a posable threat no matter which Rahi you get. This is of course the case with the Nui-Rama. These models also included a combination model called the Nui-Kopen, which is a type of wasp on the island of Mata Nui. The instructions for the Nui-Kopen can be found inside of the instruction manual for the orange Nui-Rama, which we pointed out earlier. What we're going to do is we're going to break down these two base models, and then we're going to build the Nui-Kopen model and give that a review as well. So without further ado, let's get to it. Alright, so I just wrapped up the Nui-Kopen build. It took about 12 minutes. I think it was a little bit less than 12 minutes, which is also less than the two base models combined. Of course, it didn't use all of the pieces. It used probably 2/3 to 3/4 of the pieces, and the result is this very dense, much thicker version of the Nui-Rama is the Nui-Kopen. There's 4 arms instead of 2. There's these very large, almost like menacing wings. I mean, these wings are very heavy. They're much heavier than the original model. It does use the same play function of just using that grip and the one little finger press to have the wings function back and forth. However, these wings are much larger and heavier. They would do a lot more damage. Like, in my mind, these things would just wipe down like villages. Like, it would just plow through, just knocking everything down. However, there are only 2 masks still. There's a little bit more protection here with that nose and the mouth from the masks. However, there's like 4 arms and everything, so I felt like it was a interesting balance between what they decided to make more of and what they decided to keep the same. So they kept the handle the same, the 2 masks the same, and added a little bit extra here. And then, of course, they added a top stinger, extra arms, and very beefy wings. Overall, pretty menacing model, the Nui-Kopen. I feel bad for if a Matoran gets kind of scooped up by one of these. I mean, might as well just like call it quits at that point because he's going to take you out. Between this and the base models, I think that I would put them just about even. I wouldn't prefer one over the other. I think they're both pretty good. Neither of them are super memorable or stand out a ton or anything like that, but they are pretty cool models, and they kind of help fill that imagination of the island of Mata Nui. You know, if you could pick up 2 of these sets, then of course you might as well have, you know, the 2 base model Nui-Ramas, and then you have a Nui-Kopen, and well, then you're Matoran or toast, but at least you have both. To wrap up the review, of course, like I said, nothing crazy special about this set. It is a pretty nice set. I would definitely throw it in there, you know, if you're a very like completionist type of Bionicle collector. Make sure you have this, or if you just want some Rahi that you maybe didn't have when you were younger, or you just want to start getting Rahi. These are a smaller set. I think about used, they run typically around $30 each. New, they are much more expensive. New in box are going to be like $80 to $100. So I would probably go the used route. The only issue with going used is, of course, there's some lime joints on here. If you know Bionicle pieces or anything like that, the lime joints break very easily. But if you can find some good lime joints, go used on this set. I wouldn't recommend going new on this one unless like you want the rubber bands to be extra springy or something like that. As for a score, I think a fair one for the Nui-Rama is a 7.4. You know, it's nothing crazy special. It's a standard Rahi set. It doesn't stick out to me when I think of Bionicle. This is not, and building it didn't help me kind of make that bigger anyways. I do think that it's a very neat combination model, and the base model, I do like that. I think it was very well done. It just kind of lacks in that like memorable value, you know, if that makes sense. So 7.4, that's your review. Thank you guys for watching. If you like this video, be sure to give us a nice thumbs up and consider subscribing to our channel to be the first to see all of our future content. Also be sure to check us out on our website and on our Facebook and Instagram pages. Until next time, stay bricking.